Yeah. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for being here. Um, I really value your time. Thank you so much. Well, maybe you can save your clap for later. Yeah. So thank you for coming to my first Capstone 1 lecture recital. So the format of tonight will be I will give lecture about my research, and then I will do a little performance, and then I will come back to the lecture part a little bit more. So yeah, a lot of talking, just for you to know. Okay, so before I start my lecture, I'd like to let you know that this is very early stage of my new discovery about Korean traditional music, which I haven't learned when I was young. Although I'm Korean, it is very considered really great art. It is one art form like jazz or like classical music. So if you don't study deeply about it, then there's no way to know about that. So yeah, so it's still work in progress. So if you hear something that is it's still work in progress. Yeah, let's get started. So I've been having this desire of combining Korean music, even before that with Korean nature and contemporary jazz, which all of those I love. And I always wanted to not just collaborating, but infusing all of elements into one. So that's what I've been having in my head. And finally, I had a chance to learn about Korean music from Doyeon Kim, who's a gayagan player and actively playing in New York scene. Yeah, and today's lecture is about traditional Korean music and contemporary jazz in original songs. Yeah, great. Yeah, so this lecture has 5 stages. The first one is folklore music in Korean traditional music. I will talk about a little bit of what kind of folklore music it is there are in Korean music, and vocalization in specific one that I chose. And the third one is my transcription. That is basically what I did during this summer. It may seem less, but it takes ages to get it done. And yeah, and then the fourth part is I will show how I put the element of Korean music into my original song, which will be the performance. And I'd like to come back to lecture part and evaluate how my process has been and what is my next step. So first one, folklore music in Korean traditional music. I will talk about types of folklore music and yeah, the specific one that I chose. So the first one is minyo. Minyo means people's music for the lower class people back then in Joseon Dynasty. And minyo is a folk music, like any other country's folk music. It talks about the people's daily life, love, and farming. Back then, that was the only way they got by. And it has very long history, and of course, it also has different styles, musical styles, in depending on different region. The next one is pansori. Pansori has unique style. Pansori literally means pan means field and sori means sound. So it was some kind of performance, theatrical performance happening in the outdoor market or field. You can imagine something like Union Square. There are sometimes people busking. I've done that too. Um, yeah, pansori has unique setting. Pansori has one singer and one drummer called Chang and Gosu. Um, for this vocalization, it is very special in pansori because the singers they train their throat by hurting their throat. Eventually, they push their throat and hurt their throat to make even more stronger and harsh sound. They use hypogastric breathing, which means they use the core of abdomen, and that's the way how they can make the stronger sound. And the third one is Jungga, which is the one that I chose to study. Jungga is the one that is only allowed to be called a song in Korean music because Jungga is based on poems and lyrics. And unlikely Pansori and Minyo, Jungga was the song for upper class people. And it was very difficult to sing because of the lyrics, singers had to hold their breath really, really long, and it requires a lot of difficult techniques, including also hypogastric breathing technique and falsetto technique. If you're a vocalist, then you know about falsetto. It's how can I say? It's out of the person's vocal range, above that. Did I tell correctly? Okay, good. The singers approved it. Let's move on. So I chose Jungga. It is because for the first time, I showed my work, what I've been writing, what I've been playing to Doyan, my teacher, and she was saying, this one goes well with Jungga because of the harmonies and in my tune, I don't have lyrics, but the meanings of the song works well with Jungga. So, okay, then I'm gonna study Jungga. And I will talk about the two main important elements of Jungga. First one is called Sigimse. Have you guys heard about Sigimse before? No. Even Koreans? No? Yeah, it is it is a musical term. It has a function of decorating and embellishing the main tone. I'm gonna show you the little examples of Sigimse. So the first one on the screen you see, the first I will explain this chart is the original chart, one little bit of original chart of Moranen, which I've been studying and transcribing. This one is the original chart, and the first symbol you see, the little one looks a bit like Omega, the watch brand. It's called 가성표. So that one requires singers to sing with falsetto technique. It's almost like in Western music system, it's like when you use Sibelius or any other music notation program, you see the octave above or something like that. It's kind of similar. The second one you see looks a bit like eyebrow. It's called 흘림표. So you bring down the tone from above. So if it is B flat, I'm not sure if I can sing B flat perfectly, but it goes like this. It's a bit like bending the note down. And the third one is called 잘게 떠는 소리. So it is literally means slightly shaking the note. Let me do the little demonstration. I'm not a singer, and this takes like 50 or more years of training to do. So like this. So really slightly shaking the note. And the fourth one is called 풀어내림표. So when you go from the higher note to the lower note, you slowly use the shaking motion and then go down to the target note. That one I dare to try. You will hear it later. Next one. Yeah, so And the next, earlier I said I have two main elements in Jungga. This one is the second one, microtone. Um, this I found out by doing the transcription, because in Korean music, nobody knows about microtones, because it is not written like that. Never, nobody wrote like that way. Everyone just see the symbols and they just learn with the nuance. But if I want to know about the details, if I want to play with somebody who is not Korean musicians or who didn't study at all about Korean traditional music, it would be really hard to understand the nuance if you don't know about that. So that's why I've been doing the transcriptions, and this is how it looks like with the Shigimse. And I'd like you to listen to how it actually sounds. Sorry, the sound is really soft. Do you want to hear once more? Um, wait, I can do it. Yeah. Okay. Now maybe we can hear louder sound. Could you make it 50%? No, not the sound. The no. So make it slow, 50% slow. So that was the original tempo. It it was like 5 seconds or something. But if you if you slow it down like 50%, you will hear all the microtones and all the details, which Wolf is working on. Yes. Yeah. So let's look at the transcription once more. Slideshow. Yeah. So that little part became with microtones really specific. So that's what I've been doing, and I will show the full transcription later. Let's move on. Yeah, so now it's the time to show you the transcription. Yeah, so it has a lot of 30-second notes because of the 잘게 떠는 소리, slightly shaking notes. So you are seeing the upper part is my transcription, and the bottom part is the original score with the sigimse. Yeah, so with the falsetto technique thing, you are seeing up there, and yeah, so it is really small part, but it took me 1 month to get it done. Only that part, because it is a really new element for me about microtone. I've never heard about microtone in my life, and it was my first time, so I had to practice singing microtones to be able to hear it. So that took me a lot of time, and about that I also talked about that with Doyan, my teacher, and she was saying, you know, even though I studied Korean music, traditional music, really long time, sometimes it takes 1 month minimum to get one phrase done because the sigimse requires really specific nuance, And to practice that, it takes a lot of time. And the thing is, every singer learns from every different person, different mentor. They have different technique. So if you find any other video of somebody else singing 모라는, it will sound different. But the core sikimse is same. So for me, I chose 구민지 singer, so that's how she sang. And if I transcribe other person, it will sound a little bit different, but the sikimse will stay there. Yeah, so now finally, stop talking and then performance time came. Yay! Yeah, so I already wrote Silent Reach and Meari, which are two of my original songs. Way back, like 2 years ago or something. Silent Reach is a bit recent one. But I already released those, Silent Reach I already released as a trio, contemporary jazz trio. And I've been always playing those tunes as contemporary jazz trio. And this is my first time that I wrote everything specific with the sikimse and all the microtones. Yeah, and maybe I mentioned already, or maybe not. I've been having this vision and desire of combining Korean vast nature, because I grew up in an apartment where there's literally a mountain in front of my place, and it's amazing. I've been seeing every day how the weather changes, how the season changes through that. And all my picnics in my young age was always there. I have really good memories with my friends, with my family. Whenever I felt happy or sad, I went to the mountain. And it's really important nowadays that we sometimes forget about how important nature being with us. I wanted to share my experience with my own way, with my love of nature, Korean nature, with people who don't know about Korea, and people haven't lived with nature close, so they can, they can experience maybe like this way, with musically, they can experience nature, and later on, hopefully they can also do little by little, think about protecting our nature on the earth. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, let's play. Thank you so much. That was Silent Reach. And now we're gonna play one more tune for you. It's called Meari. Meari means echo in Korean. In Korea, maybe it's also a thing in any other country. But when I grew up, whenever I went up to the mountain, even in K-drama or in movies, whenever people were at the top of the mountain, they shout, Yahoo! It's always Yahoo! I don't know why. Who made it? I have no idea. But yeah, we.
What does it mean?
Yahoo? What does it mean? I don't know, Yahoo. I've never learned about the meaning of it. I just did it. Like any other people did. I don't know, maybe, yeah. And the thing is, when you do Yahoo at the mountain, top of the mountain, you hear other mountains answering you. Like there's a reflection. When you do Yahoo, there's like Yahoo coming back. And yeah, I did that when I was young. Nowadays, people don't do it because many other reasons. I don't know why. Yeah, it's pity. It's really fun to do. So whenever you go, scares the wildlife. Makes sense. So yeah, maybe I don't recommend them doing it. Yeah, but it's really it's a thing in Korea, I think, and those things. You don't know about it if I don't talk about that to you as a Korean. So I wanted to share something really like personal experience as a Korean to non-Koreans or even with other Koreans that, you know, we've been doing this and in the mountain, it was so nice. It's, imagine the scenery and yeah, at the top of the mountain, you look down the green trees. That's, yeah, that's about That's Mary. Let's go. On saxophone, tenor saxophone, Lyndon Archie on percussion, Robert Stratman on double bass. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for playing with me, for bearing the microphone. Thank you. Yeah, so I still have one more part to talk about. Could you help? It's okay. It's okay. Doesn't. I need, but you don't need to move either way. It's okay. You don't need to move either way. Next one. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. You could imagine about Meari and Silent Reach. Thank you so much. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, this is still work in progress. It is really new for me, new for everyone who I played. Yeah, it's a first step. And always when you want to do something new in the world for the first time, of course there are things that goes well, there are things that didn't go well, and I'd like to talk about that. So for me, what I learned by doing this whole project is I learned about microtone. This is something really new. Maybe for some of you or for many of you already knew about microtones. For me, it is a completely new thing. I've learned how to hear those, how to notate those, and my composition became more fuller and more specific, more detailed. And yeah, that's what I learned by doing this. And of course, I didn't have any idea before I started doing this about what kind of Korean music do I want to take? what kind of Korean music do I like, because there's a lot of information in Korean music. Yeah, so it was a journey for me to narrow down to one element and specifically focus on that and study about that. And the painful truth, something that didn't go well, well, it's also about microtones, because what I wanted to do was, like earlier I said, I don't want to use just Korean music, like Korean instruments, just because it is Korean instrument. And I've seen many of musicians did the collaboration of their cultural music, their traditional music with Western music, that they just use the instrument to make the sound of certain cultural music. But for me, that was a bit like, yeah, that instrument used to be played in certain way, and that's why that music sound that great, special. But for me, it seems a bit like it's taking away of the charm of the instrument, which I tried. I wanted to see only the core of the element, 식임새, and I wanted to see if that element work in everywhere. So I first put in Western notation and Western instruments, and I realized that, well, actually those elements came together with the instruments. It's not only that element alone. Only that element can do something, but it doesn't make that beautiful sound with the right instrument. So that's what I learned. There's always reason why people do that. And yeah, for my next step, how I was thinking, how can I then improve these microtones? How can I use this more specifically? How can I make it sound as I want to hear? With the realization I had, I think for the next time, I'd like to collaborate, not collaborating, but I'd like to infuse more the Korean element, maybe with more 식임새 and with more microtones, with more rhythms, with Korean rhythm and more harmonies. I'd like to work on more the other elements of Korean music, and also using the right instrument that goes perfectly with those elements. That means that I might use Korean traditional instruments and work with those musicians, but it's not because it is because I see the element first, and then to embrace that sound more, I use the instrument. It's not like I'm using the instrument for Western notation or Western music to fit in there. So yeah, that's what I will do for the next step. And yeah, thank you so much for witnessing my first step together, doing my journey together. And yeah, hopefully stay in touch, and then yeah, hopefully I can make more progress in the future, so you can see how my music with the Korean music goes. Yeah, thank you so much. Big thanks to my assistant, Wolf Robert Stratman. And for the sound, thank you so much. And for the light. And Jeff, are you still there? Yeah, thank you so much, and happy birthday.